Go.
We are live at the L3 Media Studio today in Fairfield, California. I have three very powerful women sitting at the table today, but we'll go ahead and introduce them here in a second. But I want to welcome you guys back to Mics and Mindset, where we believe that your voice is power, but your mindset is what gives it purpose. My name is Glenn Davis, Forward Learning Group, L3 Media. But before we dive into today's conversation, I'm going to toss it over to my co-host, Karina.
What's up, you guys? It's your favorite person, Karina Cook, tax and financial strategist. I am here, alive, healthy, happy, and I'm so excited to bring y'all the guests that we have. So I want to introduce y'all to someone who is very special. We have Sarah Anders here, and Sarah Anders is a community activist. She's also she's a screenwriter or a filmmaker. Sorry, guys, filmmaker. And she does a lot in the community. So we really wanted to highlight what she has going on. So that's what you guys are going to go into.
Yes, and speaking of highlighting, again, I mentioned we have I have the pleasure of sitting with three not only beautiful but powerful women who are leaders in the community, always bringing value. Reached out to Shay, our other special guest today, who come to find out these two are even partners, right? On the community. And we're going to dive into it here a little bit more, talking about 707 Week. I know folks have been hearing and seeing a lot of the advertisement. I'm super excited about it. But ladies and gentlemen, Shay Miles, social entrepreneur, founder of Miles, McNeil, and Powell. Ladies, welcome to Mics and Mindset. How you guys feeling today?
Excellent.
Man,
Yeah.
absolutely happy
Like
to be in the
alive.
building. Yeah, happy about this 707 week. We got a lot of momentum, so happy just to keep it going.
Yes. I love the t-shirt. She's representing Vallejo, California, for our global watchers, Bay Area.
And this t-shirt is actually very special. I'm glad that you brought it up because it represents one of the business owners in our community, Momo's Cafe. And Momo's Cafe is a staple. They've worked a lot with La Russell, literally offering plates of food for however much you can pay for it, right? Whatever you can pay, they offer plates of food. And there was a fire behind their restaurant that actually forced their restaurant to close downtown on Georgia Street. And so now Manny at Momo's is making shirts. So he's selling his shirts in hopes to raise enough funds and everything to get the business back up and running. So we're here to support all of the Vallejo. So that's why I wore the shirt today.
I love it.
Yes.
I love being in this community. Like you see so many people who are very intentional and proud to support each other.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fashion with a cause.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
I love it.
Right.
That's right.
And so, Shay, are you originally from Vallejo?
I am born and raised.
Oh, talk to us.
I love Vallejo. My time there has been, just exciting. It's been exhausting. It's been hard work. Just being born in a city, seeing where it was, tell me my age, 40 years ago or so, 40 plus years ago. But just knowing that it was a city that was regarded differently than it is today, which brings me to why 707 Week was even created. I feel like a lot of time Vallejo has imposter syndrome. It doesn't realize how valuable it is. And I believe in community regeneration. So that means putting your resources that already exist. Vallejo is brilliant. We don't just have talent in Vallejo. There's real brilliance there. And so it's important to highlight that brilliance, and that's what 707 Week is doing. Worthy syndrome is what I like to call it. We're going to flip the imposter syndrome and really focus on the worthiness of the community, of all of the resources that are there, and what we look like even 100 years from now.
Mm-hmm. That takes a very special and powerful mindset. And Karina and I and Cam, we often talk about, we're talking a lot about mindset. Hence the name Mics and Mindset, right? And we commend you, right? We commend the both of you for what you guys are doing, because I think I recently met you maybe 2 months ago, or maybe a little bit over 2 months ago. And I met you about a month ago. But I've been hearing both of you guys' names for so long. And so, it's a pleasure for me personally, especially not being from this community, to now live in this community, to connect with two people who are like, I'm stopping for what this community looks like 100 years from now, right? And not just what it looks like next week. So,
Ooh, that. Can I touch on that? That's important because there's vision there,
Mhm.
right? And I think as leaders, being able to, we talk about it all the time. I like to say the 4 steps of a leader or success, and the vision part is always the top, where you can show this and you say, well, how is this going to be implemented? Because when you're right here in this moment, sometimes it doesn't feel like, because you say 100 years from now, you're like, oh gosh, that's a couple generations.
Right.
But it's necessary for someone to activate that and start now, even though you might not see the benefit until later. So I think when he says commend, it's definitely there because one, not everyone is willing to do that, delay the gratification. And then 2, see it through for something you may not benefit right away right now. So thank y'all. It's not an easy task.
When you think about like the Hewlett Foundation, foundations like that, that's the type of mindset we have to move forward with. We have to start thinking more about that. And vision can only take you so far, right? You have to really be strategic in terms of putting a plan in place, even when, and we'll get more into it, or we can get into it now. When 707 Week was presented to Supervisor Cassandra James, we could all snap for that.
Love her.
Snap for
Happy
change.
belated
Real
birthday.
change. Snap
Yes.
for real change. So when it was presented to her, she got it right away. There was no like, let me persuade her, let me try to figure out how to make her love it and all this. No, she got it because she understood. Because we've talked about the issues for so long.
Yeah.
The issues, we know what the issues are.
Yeah.
It's time to just put some action behind it. Whether they're the right actions, let's test them out. Let's see. If we don't know until we really get into it. And so it's more about being intentional with that implementation and stop just talking about it. Oh, let's get over the complaining and the talking and get more into the action behind the words. And that's what we did. And Cassandra was like, I'm putting a committee together. We're going to put a whole team. So 707 Week is not just I presented the idea, like I designed the idea, but that was it. She was like, Shay, bring some people. I'm going to bring some people. We're going to do this community regeneration in real time and show them what it's about and just be a blueprint for what, other things could be.
Yeah.
Right. And I think keeping the focus too, like just remembering that this is the first time. So anytime you do something for the first time, it's always going to be the best that you can do that first time. Right. And just reminding ourselves too, coming back to that space where it's like, this is better than nothing, because I think me being a producer and coming, from a line of having a budget and all these other things, I'm like wanting to make this perfect. And it's like also too, when you come together with your community, it's also remembering that whatever ripple you make is going to make a wave. Like you were saying, like we're saying, it's not just for today, but it's putting that work in, it's doing your best. And then realizing that work, you cannot quantify the impact of that. We're not even going to be able to quantify the impact of this 707 week. And to that, for me, is like the most exciting thing. Yeah. And like Glenn, like I'm not actually from Vallejo.
I
did not know that. Listen, the cat is out of the bag. Like legit, I'm not from Vallejo, but the interesting thing is my family is from Vallejo. My family is deeply rooted in Vallejo. My grandparents, my grandma has been there for like 80 years. My grandfather has been there for like almost 80 years. So my family is deeply rooted. My father is from Vallejo, but I actually grew up in Oregon on my mother's side of the family. And the reason why Vallejo and 707 week is so special for me particularly was because I didn't meet another Black person until I was 10 years old. I'm talking family. I'm talking everybody. I was literally the only person in my community, my small community in Oregon, that looked like me. And then when I was 15, I had the opportunity to meet my biological father, who is from Vallejo. Go ahead, Angelo Blake. And I like went from this like desert of culture to like this place where there's like everyone and everything and all the food. And I was just like, this is life. Like this is what it is. And so coming from a drought of culture, coming from a drought of that, and then coming into this community, I realized how important that is. And so that's my drive, to uplift, to encourage, to inspire. And that's what really keeps me inspired to keep on going and knowing like, I know what it's like to not have the salt of the earth. So I'm gonna try to salt everything.
For sure, yeah. I absolutely love sitting at the table with visionaries. I even love even more when I sit at the table with executors, right? And so to hear, you know, I've attended meetings where both of you have been in that share the voice, share the vision. But what I've seen most is the action behind the vision, right? The action behind your guys' talk. And so while we're on 707, I want to kind of park there a little bit so our listeners can kind of get more of an understanding of why it was even birthed, and you know we can kind of transition through, you know, how did 707 day become 707 week, and then we could talk about events. And so 707 vision was that. Let's start there. The 707 day vision.
Yeah.
Can we start there and then how it transitioned to 707 week and then to putting the team
Yeah,
together?
absolutely. So, a little backstory. I love a good Tubi movie.
Not Tubi.
I am okay. So this is something that I really don't share, but there's an actor and his name is Murder Payne, and he did Buffed Up, this comedy called Buff Day. So I started following him, right? And Detroit created 313 Day. And so I had been following it, and I was following it because they're similar to Vallejo. Honestly, things that they've been through, very similar. So I'm always looking at different communities and how they are taking back their communities, how they, you know, what action steps, how their community is working with their politicians, things like that, because we all have to work together. You know, it just is what it is. And they went through their city council, established 313 Day. And I was just like, yeah, that's awesome. How do we do it? How do we remix it for Vallejo? And I was thinking more, I'm pro Vallejo. I say that all the time. So it's not that I don't look at it countywide. It's just that Vallejo is just near and dear to my heart. It is what it is. So when I started thinking about how we could do a day for us. Obviously creating 707 Day and just feeling like just trying to identify who needs to be involved. Who do I need to go to? And timing is everything. Keep in mind, Cassandra James is not in office yet. And I reached out to a prior supervisor, and this isn't any shade, but I did. I reached out to a prior supervisor, crickets. And it was unfortunate. And this is why I'm saying timing is everything. And you really have to, you can't get discouraged. The proper people have to be in place. Everybody, you know, really plays their part. We were just with Kirby yesterday. She was talking about that. And it's so true. So you can't get discouraged when it's like, oh, that's a setback. That person isn't getting back to me. They must not like, don't get into your feelings.
Right. Keep
focused. Make sure that your eyes are always on the prize. And so I said, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold on to it. And I'm going to give it to Cassandra. And like I said, I told you how she responded. Immediate. She took office in January of 2025. And originally the strategy was, hey, let's just present this. Let's do a day. Can you do a resolution? Let's work through 2025 and see how we implement it for 2026. She was like, yeah, no. We're going to do it in 2025. We're going to test it out. And I was like, let's do it. And she was like, we'll do it for a month. I was like, that's a little too much.
I love her energy, period.
She jumped to a whole month.
Ambitious.
And I was like, yeah, no. So then it turned into a week. And there was already some key activations already in mind, thinking about what it looked like if it was a week. And she was like, let's focus on that week. And so that's where it came from, just to show that we are valuable. We are vibrant. And we're going to start with Vallejo because it's the largest of the county. It's the most disinvested. And I'm just talking about in the county.
That part.
I'm not going to even talk about the Bay Area and then going out to California statewide, but just within the county, Vallejo is the most disinvested. And she understands this. This was her platform. And I'm not campaigning for her next 4 years. I'm just saying the reality of things.
Yeah.
You can go find this data. It's available. So her priority, being a representative of Greater Vallejo, said, let's do it in Vallejo first, and then let's figure out who we need to connect with to make it more countywide. How do we put that in place? So right now we're working on 25 and 26 at the same time, but the reality is 707 week is like in 3 weeks. So
For sure.
so we're hot and heavy and we're ready. We're just really excited. And today is the National Day of Purpose. And I just want to thank you guys for having us here today, because this is really what 707 week is about bringing all of the resources together to show that we are purpose filled and that we know how to get things done, even on a shoestring budget. Keep in mind, she got in office in January. There's no money.
Right.
So this is all love. This is a labor of love, truly, to the city.
Got you.
And for everyone involved too, right? I think we have another meeting tonight, and there's so many people. I mean, it's like 20 people that have been just really putting their efforts into this. So, and that's something that I love being a producer, right? There's nothing better to me than just getting people together and coming on one accord and being like, okay, how can we all shine in this situation? How can I use my spotlight to spotlight you? How can I use my light to shine light in your corner? And I think that that's one of the things I really love about my community in Vallejo, is that as much as I love them, they love me too. Right, Shay?
Totally.
What's up?
Man, they love us too. So it's a reciprocated type of vibe and energy. And that's what we want to showcase on 707 Day. Like Vallejo is one of the most diverse cities in the entire country, right? Solano County is also the blackest county in all of California. So when you start talking about these different things, you start looking at statistics, and it's like, oh, they're underserved. Oh, it's under budgeted, all of these things. And it's like, okay, well, it's not going to get us down. That just gives us more purpose to be like, okay, well, we got to put our bootstraps up a little higher and dig a little deeper, but we got it.
And I think that's the right mindset to have. Over the last couple of weeks, I've sat in a couple of different meetings, and just to hear a handful of individuals who were standing alongside to see 707 week win. It's been pretty cool to see so many a handful of business owners come together to donate their services. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
to stand behind the vision, despite the lack of funding being supported into it. That's not stopping the vision. It's not stopping the execution of the vision. So,
yeah. So for those who don't know, like the audience who doesn't know, what is 707 week? Like, what is that week consistent of?
Oh, there's tons of stuff going on. So basically, on Sunday, we have a VIP event at King's Event Center. Another community member coming to partner. On Monday, what we got popping Monday, Shay?
We have the kickoff celebration. So that is going to happen with music and the community coming together. Everything, 90% of all of the business activations are free. Yep. Everything that's happening during that week is really free, except for a couple of events like the VIP and one other event. But that's what's happening on Monday. We have like Moschetti's coming out with a new coffee blend.
Ooh.
So that's going to happen, which is fire. He came on board early. He was one of the early adopters of what this concept even was. He was like, I want to see it successful. I believe in Vallejo. If you've been to his roaster on what's that 6th Street in
You can't help
Vallejo.
but smell it
Yeah.
all through the city.
Wow.
Exactly. You know, great establishment, great community supporter, as well as Ish at Bambino's. Those were the two businesses that really like had our back from the very beginning. And you know, if you're familiar with Bambino's, they're so immersed in the community. It's
Listen.
crazy.
Love it.
They
Mhm.
should be an inspiration for any other business owner throughout the community, just to show how to give back to the very patrons that come there. I mean, and he's just, I can't say enough about him. He's really awesome. He's been very supportive. But that was Monday. And then on Tuesday,
Taco Jalisco. So also y'all already listen. Go ahead with the woo. Go ahead.
We
Yes.
love Taco Jalisco.
Tacos Jalisco
Yes.
has also been a huge supporter, right?
Yes.
So we got Taco Tuesdays
And
Talk. Yeah. So
and you already know what that is. Let's talk about that really quick. Let's
Absolutely.
give the plug for L3.
I'm getting
Oh,
educated.
L3.
They'll be doing the talk part at Taco Jalisco.
Oh, yay.
So
Y'all
we're
are
excited to have you guys
Live
on board and
podcast.
partnering with us.
We're doing it live too, right?
Yes.
yeah.
I'm with
In
it.
Tacos Jalisco.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we were
Yeah.
just talking about them, I think last week, because the day before, whatever guest we had on previous couple weeks, my wife had been talking about that place,
Mhm.
and so yeah, we got to pull up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and just a little. I met them because of my film that I was doing, and they gave me a discount, y'all, for the catering to feed my cast and crew. So Taco Jalisco has a credit in my movie.
Oh.
Nice.
So they're helping community, like even behind the scenes, you know,
Yeah.
like they didn't know they were going to get a movie credit. They
Yeah.
just offered me a discount off the tip that I was filming in Vallejo, and I didn't even know them.
Yeah.
That's good. Real
Mhm.
quick, can we pause real quick? I do want to get a special shout out to Cam. I see he's tuned in live with us. There's some folks. So he's Facebook Live. We have a couple folks on IG. Ramp_people. She's actually one of our L3 Media Network clients.
that's
What's
up.
poppin'?
Diana Burgos 1422. I believe she's in New Jersey, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken. Connie's son, the one, also joined. We actually met him last year in San Francisco. Thorough brother out there in the Bay Area. We actually got to have you on sometime. And Anaya_Panther. Sorry if I messed that up. And then DP20, he's Security Forces military as well. So appreciate you guys chiming in. If y'all have questions or
Yeah.
thoughts or input or feedback,
Let's hear it.
we obviously want to invite you out to the Bay Area to join in on
That's
707 week. But if you have questions, thoughts, feedback, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll get you connected with Sarah and Shay.
Yes. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Cam. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. Love it. Love to see you.
Mm-hmm. Got you. So real quick, we often we value collaboration and the right collaboration. So Sarah, can you talk about a little bit about how you decided to, after hearing the vision, what made you say yes to being a part of collaborating and seeing the vision through?
Well, I think for me is, my connection to the city. But I also think it's just my calling. It's my purpose, right? There's certain things that you just God called me to do. God called me to bring the people together to have a good time. So I have a lane. And so when people call me and they ask me to do things, I have to, first put a pause on it and say, okay, ask the question, is this in my lane? Right? That's the question. Okay, is it in my lane? It doesn't have to be in my lane, but I need to know, is this in my lane? And then I ask myself, is this a lane that I want to create? Because a lot of people will have you doing a lot of stuff that is outside of your purpose and will have you spinning in circles with all your energy wasted. And then you be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
So those are the things that I ask myself before any of these opportunities that I get. And of course, it's Shay. Okay. So
That's what I've been hearing.
Right. Like I've known Shay for a long time in community and just in love and spirit. And so when my people come to me like, hey, like, how can you support? Like, I'm always gonna try to offer the support that I can and the connections that I can. And not only just thinking about my connection with her, but also my connection with the other people, the artists, the the local restaurant owners, the local Black and brown owned businesses. Like in Vallejo, there's so many Black and brown businesses. Like I can literally shop Black in Vallejo.
Oh, wow.
Which is unheard. I can
Yeah.
get my groceries at Grocery Outlet on Admiral Callahan that also has like hair care stuff and everything. So once again, it goes back to me being a light and understanding that I'm not doing anything for anyone else that hasn't been done for me. Working in Hollywood, listen, it'll have you understanding things in a different way, right? People always wanting you to think like, oh, this is a favor. I'm doing you a favor. Or like, oh, I'm giving you this opportunity. So your career is based on the opportunity I gave you and all this other stuff. That to me is wild. Okay. Because you would not have rehired me or you would have not had given me an opportunity had I not shown up to work. Right. Had I not been me. So as a producer and anything that I'm doing, I always want to keep that at the forefront. Like we're spotlighting people that are doing the thing. Like they deserve the platform. They deserve the uplift. They, they've been working hard. They've been grinding. So anytime, like I said, I'm able to take my platform and shine a light on other people doing amazing things, that only makes me better. That only makes us better and stronger as a community and to come together more. And that's what I've been seeing in Vallejo. It used to be very siloed. And we've talked about this. Like you have this over here and this over here. And I've been noticing, Shay, I hope that you can agree. In the past few years, there's been this shift of us just really putting aside anything else. And like you were saying, just really focusing on the big picture. What's the big picture here? We're all here for the same reason, to highlight our city, to show the diversity, the beauty, the culture, the food. That's what we're here for. So, I mean, what a great job.
No, it is. Yeah. I feel like, okay, so I talked to people from Vallejo and you guys, it's a unique everything, right? Where you describe the city so beautifully. And so like even first of all, my husband, native.
Of course.
So
shout out to Essex.
Shout out to my hubby.
Of course.
Shout out to the hubby. He has I lived in Vallejo when I was a kid for a little bit of time. My family is from Vallejo. So I feel that like I see the beauty, right? But I'm not there all the time. Like, so when me and Essa got together, he started taking me and start showing me different places in Vallejo. He still will do it to this day where I'm like, oh, that is really cool. All the places I found to eat, it was because he was like, look, this is a gym. This is a gym.
Yeah.
So we'll literally go to Vallejo to go eat. Like, okay, no, there ain't nothing out here. I want a mom and pops. I want some Saks hot dogs. I want some Bud's burger.
Okay.
Like you guys have such a unique position that I feel it doesn't get highlighted and spotted out all the time in a great way, but it's great. Like it literally is. And so for you guys to come out and say, no, listen, we're doing this. This is important. This is the beauty part in Vallejo. These are all the people who are here. This is all new for me to see that it was so diverse. And I'm like, wow, to have this area full of people willing to, we went to the event, what was it with the Boys and Girls Club?
Boys and Girls Empowerment Group?
Yes. And to see everybody come out, everybody show up, have a good time. It was like family. And I was telling Essex, okay, I'm coming. Like, let me know when the next event is. I'm out there. And so I think the work that y'all are putting in to make it happen and spotlight the businesses is very important because we will travel to Vallejo to go get something for sure. So that's really dope. Yeah. Really dope.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say too, it's like such a group effort. Like, do y'all know Vallejo has walking tours now? Like what? So you can look, it's Bay 707 walking tours. You can literally take a walking tour in Vallejo to the restaurants, to the art, to all the beautiful things. So it's such a group community effort right now. It's really dope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Love that.
So 707 week, can you guys shout out the dates?
Yeah, absolutely. It's July 7th to the 13th. So something is happening every single day. You can go to 707week.com and see what, I mean, there's actually new things coming just the other day. And I don't think I'm talking too premature about this, but
If you want to meet tonight, you'll hear it.
Russell actually just came on board to actually support 707 Week. And so through a partnership that we have with Soul Trends, he's doing free fairs. And I forgot to, sorry, my apologies. Forgot to mention this Monday, which is July 7th, the kickoff of 707 Week. He is doing free fairs on Soul Trends all day. So anybody, you don't have to be a kid, you don't have to be a senior, anybody who's riding the bus, it's free.
Wow.
Hold on, let's park
Whether
there real
you're
quick.
commuting to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we're rolling off for 4th of July weekend, right?
Yep.
And if folks are in this area or traveling to this area, if you're like, it was nothing to do in this area, Monday, I mean, obviously there's a full week of events.
Yeah.
Monday, if funds are tight, Monday, it's free.
Wow.
Hop on that
All
bus.
you gotta do is show up.
All you got to do is show up.
I'm challenging the community to show up.
Yes.
I'm gonna look. I don't know which camera I'm on, but I'm gonna look at this camera, this camera. If you are traveling through Vallejo, California, or you're in the area, Monday, July 7th, show up. It's a free event. The community is coming together to highlight culture, to highlight diversity, to highlight community, to highlight vision, to highlight what the next 100 years of this area looks like. Put on with an amazing team behind it to push this vision. So
we got Sunday. Don't forget the VIP party on Sunday.
So this is July 6th?
July 6th. Yeah.
Oh,
so we have the
okay.
kickoff
at
King's Events. So shout out to King's Events in Vallejo. They're a huge partner with us on this. So on Sunday, we're going to have a little VIP party. It's going to be real cute at King's Events. And also King's Events is also, I work with them and Boys and Girls Empowerment, shameless plug, for Sarah's Playhouse on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, I have what you call Sarah's Playhouse. You bring your kids, or if you don't have kids, you just come. And we literally have a game night that's like no phones. You can't drop your kids off, but you can come and hang out. You don't have to play with your kids. Like, we'll keep the kids engaged. But you can like come and color, play Trouble, Uno, Dominoes. Like, we have so much stuff going on. Last week we had like 30 people up in there, and it was just like a family game night. And we're doing a bigger one. And Shadi, shout out to Shadi, he's gonna host with me for a bigger Sarah's Playhouse that week. What else do we have? We didn't even get to the rest.
So we didn't even get through it. So Cassandra James is also doing a listening session at the Vallejo Museum that Wednesday. And then there's a remix of Sarah's Playhouse. Then that Thursday is Lord help me, charge it to my mind and not my heart.
What happened?
No worries. So we're gonna get the agenda from you, and then we'll drop the agenda specifically on our Facebook Live in the comments check, so folks can kind of follow.
Also, you can go to the beautiful website that Shay created because she's a boss.
Look,
it's beautiful.
I worked at the North Face for a good 10 plus years, and that's all I did. So, you know, I took a lot of the lessons that I learned from corporate America, and I'm bringing them to the community. It's really important because when we're talking about sponsorship, funding, just really knowing how to look, knowing how to be and look professional, knowing what they want to see in order to invest in a community that's, you know, been historically overlooked and not really received the love that they deserve. We have to step it up. It's really important. So those resources I bring, we have Sarah with her brilliance, her brilliant mind, the brilliant mind of Essex, your husband. You know, he's my co-chair for 707 Week. We have people, you know, and then there's tons of people that are just behind the scenes doing the grind work, like Jamila Hanif. Who else? I mean,
Bianca,
we have Selena, the foodie mom. We have
Selena
Bianca
Perez,
Rubio. We have even people from Vallejo Main Street, Andrea, their executive director. There's like tons of people that are, if they're not on the committee, they're involved in some kind of way. So even though we say that there's 20 people, the community is really come together to say, this is what we need. Because 707 Week is just really a takeover of that week. But when we talk about how we support each other, like,
Mhm.
you know, Momo's making sure that we purchase his merch, things
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
It's so important. So for that Thursday, I'm sorry. I went on that, but
No worries.
but for that Thursday, we have a 707 job fair. So we have partnered with the Solano Workforce Development Board to make sure that we bring some, you know, highlight some opportunities that are in the community. People are seeking jobs and employers are looking for great talent. So we want to make sure that we're bringing them together, and we're doing that Thursday morning from 10 to 1 at the Solano Community College. Then later that day, we're tailgating at the Vallejo Seaweed game.
Hey.
Okay.
So
Do y'all
that's
know what Vallejo
exciting.
Seaweed
No,
is?
I like
Okay,
that.
they're confused.
Yeah.
What
So,
is
you know,
that?
we have our own baseball league,
Oh,
the
really?
Picos League.
And
And
do
we have the Vallejo
Yeah.
Seaweed, and they're going up against the Martinez Sturgeon.
Wow.
Yeah. So want everybody to come out and do that.
the seaweed versus the sturgeon?
Yeah.
I love it.
Where is that going to be?
Wilson Park.
Yeah, Wilson
Okay.
Park.
Yeah, that's where they play at Wilson Park. And it is so much fun. My son is a huge baseball player, for all you guys that know. So we love to go out
Absolutely.
to a seaweed game. Kids under 12 and under are free,
Very
and
cheap.
adults are only $10.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun
Nice.
Good.
situation.
Special shout
And-
out to your son as well.
Hey, y'all know Trey Day,
Yes.
sidekick. Hey.
And then that Friday we'll have a micro cinema with the Bay Area Cinema is doing a micro cinema showing all Vallejo inspired or Vallejo featured films in at the riverfront. No,
Okay.
the riverbank, sorry.
At the riverbank. Yeah, downtown.
During Art
Okay.
Walk, and
Art Walk.
the Exchange is also participating during Art Walk with a Vallejo leather stamping session. And then that Saturday, we're at Second Saturdays Vallejo at the waterfront. We're doing a cook-off that is hosted by Sharky's as well as Nooney's Place.
Okay, shout
And
out.
so we want anybody who think they can burn, come burn.
Come on.
Come and burn.
See
If
what
you
you got.
If you think you got the juice, come and do it. But it's a throwdown of people who can do a po' boy
Okay.
Ooh.
and or potato
Potato salad.
Okay.
Ooh.
I need to see your kitchen.
I like the potato salad now. That gotta be on point. Let's see.
Okay,
Right.
You know.
We all know
Right.
potato salad is subjective based on your granny
Yes.
and what she made for you.
Yes.
Right. And then that Sunday we have books and brunch. So we brought all of our Vallejo authors. We have a list of 8 of them, I believe, at this point. Solano Writer Society has helped put that together. So they're hosting that event.
Love that.
And there's 8 Vallejo authors and then some other writers and poets that are involved, and Korea Shabazz,
Okay.
as well as Sharon McGriff Payne will be there. Fatima Hanif.
Yes.
Who else?
Shout out to
Brendan Riley.
Fatima.
I mean, there's 8 of them, but they're all listed on the website, and they'll be there for books and brunch at Bambino's.
Wow. That's a hefty week.
It's-
I'm already okay. Boom,
check.
boom. All right.
And-
Wow.
And there'll be $7.07 mimosas there. So
For
That's
brunch.
all
you
you
gotta
could,
come.
that's all you
You
have
gotta
to
come.
say.
You gotta come.
Listen. Oh, I love that. Wow, that's a filled week. A really filled week.
Yeah, that's jam packed.
It's serious. And then on Thursday, we're actually showing a short film that I produced and assistant directed. Shameless plug,
Okay.
of course, called Thought. And the reason why this film is so important right now is because we actually filmed at House of Soul. And I don't know if y'all know, but House of Soul was a restaurant in Vallejo, a staple restaurant in Vallejo for so long, and it recently closed down. And so I love the fact that we filmed Thought in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we will be able to have that feeling and that forever. That's the thing I love about film, is it lives on forever.
Mhm.
We also filmed at a barbershop downtown and an Airbnb. So the entire film was filmed. In my house. Sorry, we filmed in my house. I forgot that was before I had money. Before I had a budget for my film. And so so that is a film that was created in Vallejo. So we want to remind people, we got authors, we got filmmakers,
Right,
we got
right.
artists,
Brilliance.
we got business owners, like
Yeah.
chefs, and we got everything that y'all need. So come on, pop
This
on
is
Yeah.
through.
this is really good to hear because like I'm not in Vallejo, California a lot. But a lot of times, it seems like the stuff I see on IG or on social media,
Mhm.
Vallejo is highlighted in such a negative look. So to see two people who not only, again have the vision, but like have the whole community
Mhm.
like all in to
Mhm.
to wipe off the lens, right, and refocus the lens to highlight the beauty and the culture and
Yeah.
the essence of Vallejo, California. Like
Yeah.
this, and that the 707 week isn't just a week, right? And this is something that we've been recently talking about when it comes to putting on events here in Solano County. It's not about the event, right? It's about the bigger picture and the economic impact, and also showing our younger generation that it's okay to dream, right? It's okay to collaborate with like-minded individuals and execute on things and have a purpose behind it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. I think well said.
Thank
Well
you.
said,
That's
because
why we're on the same
that
team.
yeah, because that's what I'm like, keep doing what you guys are doing. It's very important for people to see that so that they can also step up and be leaders and come up under you guys and work their way up to where they need to go. So you guys are showing a lot. And speaking of that, so how I start to look at this is I'm an entrepreneur, right? And look at, okay, you guys are getting, this is to me entrepreneur work also, right? And the things that we're all doing as entrepreneurs, business owners, I want to ask you guys, like, what, because we talk about this process, right? This is the part where it's like, yeah, no, it's cool. But then there's a side that comes with building and planning and having your own journey of being a filmmaker, doing what you do in the community and your business. What I feel people don't talk about a lot is the emotional toll sometimes it can take on you, right? We talk about emotional toll. We talk about it could be a financial toll that it takes on us where we don't always show it, but this is what happens when you're invested into something. So in this process of you guys being entrepreneurs, business owners, community leaders, what is that thing that you feel that would be beneficial to say, okay, one, I may be going through this in the process, which is normal, right? Whether it's financial, whether it's decision making, whatever that is. But this is like the process that I've taken to get over this part. Or are you still in it?
I love the question.
I'm like, ooh, I see there's a
As you were saying that, it triggered a week ago. It was a challenge a week ago. Just a week ago, it was a challenge, and the first person I called was Sarah
okay.
because you need you need that village. You need to make sure that your village is not just there when it's all good. You really need that village to be supportive when things are not going quite in the direction you need, that you expected, and you need a different perspective. Like there's just all sorts of things that can really factor into why certain emotions are coming up. As you stated, it could be financial, it could be, just exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because we're planning a week with no budget.
Okay. Say it again.
I just want to say that once again. We're planning a week with no budget.
Yeah.
So this is really using love to make sure that this happens, and with a sustainability plan behind it, so that it's not just, oh, we did it in 2025. We don't have any plan. We don't know what we're going to do in 2026, 27, 28.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the beauty of Vallejo, well, let's start with the burden of Vallejo. The burdens, they really get highlighted more than anything else. We have to really always talk about the beauty.
Yeah.
And, the burden that may surface, we have to be there to support it. We have to be there to create solutions around that, and not just think about it as a a burden, but how do we play our part
Yeah.
in making sure that we are creative problem solvers?
Mm.
Because not every whatever reason they created 313 Day in Detroit is not necessarily the same reason we created 707 Day, but there was creative problem solving behind that initiative. And we all, no city is the same. The solutions, there's no template to the solution.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to figure out how we identify our role
Mm.
in becoming that creative problem solver. Honestly, there's really, I mean, that's the only way I can kind of frame it, to make sure that people understand that it's not because you have a corporate background or you're educated. That has nothing to do with it. It has to do with, do you have time to do it? What can you do? And let me make sure I keep my word that I do it if I say I'm going to do it, because that's also important.
That's a good one.
I feel like a thing that has definitely helped me is just being honest with myself and everybody else about what it is. So to me, it's like communication, right? So as we're producing the 707 Day, it's like not only just reaching out to artists, but I'm not like one of those producers that reaches out to artists and says like, oh, I have a whole bag of money and all these things, and then I show up and I ain't got nothing. It's just about being real in your communication, like checking your ego to the side and be like, hey, check this out. This is what I got. This is what I don't have. This is where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
And I think us working together and creating the space and the grace, I think for everyone is really important. And remembering when we're in this huge circle of people, we all gonna have different ideas.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have different things. But like you said, it's really about the mindset and the perspective. And so if we can go back to that mindset and that perspective of why we're doing what we're doing, we're going to be all right. We're going to be able to talk through things. But one thing that I have noticed, of course, with something that's big and with so many people involved, is communication.
Yes.
Like communication is so important. And it's also understanding that I may communicate to you something, but you may receive something different. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I worked at Napa State Hospital for almost a decade. I was a narrative restructuring therapist and also a psychiatric technician. So with that background and working with people and communicating with people, that's why you were able to come to me, because I've actually been trained, right? In how to manage conflict and how to create space for everyone to kind of have a voice. And I think that once people have a voice and they feel heard, that's literally 90% of the problem, is that just keeping it inside and not bringing it to the table, whatever it is, right? Because once you brought it to the table, we had a little quick conversation and you was like, okay, cool, moving on. And that's literally, it can be something so simple as that. So I am honored to bring that space and grace to my community. I love it.
Yeah. Oof.
And you have to, keep that open mind, because I literally was like, am I not seeing something here?
Yeah.
Like what am I not seeing? What am I not understanding? And it wasn't like I just had like, I want you to tell me I'm right.
Yeah.
A lot of people enter conversations with that mindset, and it was about being more open and helping me see what was really going on. Help me understand, just getting a different perspective.
Oof.
Boom.
There you go. Perspective. So
That L3 perspective.
Yeah.
What? That L3
It's
perspective.
so important
Life,
just
love,
to
leadership.
add.
That's what I thought about.
Just to add, not to take away, like, you're not trying to take away anybody else's perspective, but let me just add. Let's just add this little thought and see, and like you said, you doing that inner check first. If we could all do that inner check first, to say, wait a minute, let me check myself first. Not this person doing this and this part. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I love that. And thank you for doing the work, because that is the work.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And you got to work on it every day.
Every day.
That inner work is daily work.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I hear communication and I hear critical thinking. Right. And that is also two things that you don't see a lot of people are able to execute on sometimes, right? It's a buildup.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that that is a skill that you can just that you have to develop over time? Which I think, you know, not all people come out able to do this, right? But as you talk to them and see them through, okay, how do you, if you're focused on this and it didn't happen or something happened that may have pushed us back a little, how do we get back forward, which is the critical thinking, but how do we all stay on the same page? Or if there's some healthy conflict, it's okay to have healthy conflict instead of avoiding it, like Sarah says.
Yeah.
Because at that point, then we can move forward from something that had been blocking us.
Mhm.
Right. I like that. I like that.
Emotional intelligence is so important. And I'm also a certified emotional intelligence coach. So it is a practice.
Mhm.
It is a different understanding once again, because if you ask somebody what is emotional intelligence, they may not know what that is. You know,
Yeah.
it's taking a pause. It's looking inward before you, adjust outward. There's, it's a whole world,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's a big buzzword right now that's going around. So
Yeah.
but that has to be the center of anything that you're doing with the community, especially in our community. And our community is so different because it's so diverse.
Mhm.
And when you're dealing with people that are from completely different cultural backgrounds, completely different languages, completely different understandings and perspectives of the world,
Mhm.
you really do have to come in so open and so willing to learn and, to instead of just trying to project your ideas on what you think it should be. It's really like, okay, we need a little of this, we need a little of that, and just creating space for each other.
Yeah.
And I think something else that we did well from out the gate was just we all use systems thinking,
Mm.
really just making sure that, because we have no budget, we're instead using our wealth of resources.
Mm.
And making sure that they connect. So this person knows this person, or this person knows how to do this, and bringing it all together and everyone playing their part in using their strengths.
Yeah.
And what they don't know how to do, they don't do it. Or they, or it's like, I'll
Right.
try, but they're really setting the expectation. Like, I'll try, but well, maybe you shouldn't do it, which is fine also. Which is fine also. Because I'm all about self-awareness. But it was really important to have all of these people come to the table understanding either policy,
Mhm.
how things work, who to go to, what is the proper process, steps, being strategic in how they approach something or someone. So all of that played a huge part in the success as well. And yeah, I'm really thankful for that.
Mm. I
So
love
true.
The
that.
power of community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deep.
Community is, you know, to you guys, can you sum up really quick? What do you see as community? Because people might see or hear it differently and not know how to interpret it. What is community?
Community to me, it says it all. It has unity in the word. And I think when we really focus on the breakdown of that part of that word, we focus on the unification aspect, that we really have to come together. It's not exclusive. There's no template, but it's all about how we come together to solve problems and to uplift each other and ensure that we are worthy and take on the burdens of each other. We can't, and not to get into the homeless issue, but we can't say, oh, let's get rid of the homeless without saying, or be upset with the homeless, criminalizing them without saying, I'm really upset because there's no solution.
Yeah.
That's really, the concern. And so when we talk about unity, it's more about how can I be a solution to a problem? How can I be a solution to thinking differently? How can I be a solution to whatever it is they figure is going on? And if they don't have all of the strengths, who do they need to reach out to for that very thing that they want to do?
You can spell the word unity and community.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking, you just made me think about that. Like, you is also in the center of community. So for me, my community is global. So I know folks all around the world.
Yeah.
So this entire world is my community because I have made that decision to make this world my community. I talk to strangers. I introduce myself. I am out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So I think community is so beautiful because it's subjective to every person and it's what you decide to create for yourself. But it's not what I create. You can be a part of my community, but my community is my world. It's like I said, you is really in the middle of it. So it's whatever you decide to create.
Yeah. So the last 10 minutes of what you guys were sharing, the thought came to mind, the power of community, which is why I said that. And Karina, you asked a really great question to transition into that. I'm going to share a quote I looked up regarding the power of community that ties in what you guys said. And so we have about 5 minutes as we wrap up, but I want to share this. It says, we cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own. And so this is from Cesar Chavez. And I think that really ties up a lot of the conversation that we had because it was based around passion. It was based around vision. It was based around collaboration and vision and community, right? And I think that's important for people not to miss, especially in this county, right? Because you have so many people trying that have been born and raised or just being raised in this community that are looking for hope. And for the two of you to be leading the front with that, to kind of like show them, hey, it's okay to dream. It's okay to be who you are because you can still fit in the mode to execute and be a part of this massive thing that we're creating for the next 100 years. And so I say all that just on behalf of, the Mike's and Mindset team, the L3 Media team. We're very appreciative of your leadership. To stand bold in front and say, I know this hasn't been done before, but we're going to lead the charge, because that speaks volumes of your character. That speaks volumes of who you are. And the reason why we partnered was because that's just a few of those qualities that we see. And it's easy for us to say yes. Right. So that's a long way of just saying on behalf of our team, thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate the partnership. And I think the same thing goes with the 707 week too. Like, we just not bringing anybody in. Hold on now. Right. Also, speaking of our lack of budget, we are fiscally sponsored.
Oh, yeah.
So if you would like a good old tax write-off, hunty,
Talk to him.
come on and support. We have $1,001. You could support a whole day. $7,007. You could support the entire week. Once again, businesses, folks, this is a tax write-off.
It is, yes.
So, see how you can get involved. Shay, let us know. Give us your email. So if I want to donate, how can I donate?
You can go to shay@milesmcneilpal.com.
Can you spell that for me?
MILESMCNEALPOWELL.com.
Ooh.
No excuses. You can
feel
slow
like-
this down. You can pause this.
Make it rain. Make it rain.
Gotcha.
Yes. Thank you. I love that. That's important.
Yeah.
Good job for y'all. So there ain't no excuses.
No.
Before we close out, we want to give you guys an opportunity. How can folks connect with you? What are some last minute thoughts that you want to share around 707 week? Can I get a copy of this flyer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it.
So 707 week. I would like to say, and I don't think we talked about this, there's other work that is, spinning off from 707 week, which is, the community, Solano County planning for the Super Bowl, spillover of tourism and the World Cup tourism. And so we're trying to really make sure that we elevate this county as something that people don't drive through when they're here in our Great Bay Area, but we want to make sure that they stop in Solano County and see all of that we are a part of wine country. You know, it's not just Napa.
Okay, Vino
Solano
Godfather.
County is a part of wine country. We have Six Flags. We have tremendous things. You know, the website also be updated with all of the great activities, the richness of this community. So that will be there. Again, 707week.com. You can learn more about attending, sponsorship, partnering, and so forth. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm on Instagram. I'm mostly on LinkedIn, but I'm on Instagram at r.shay-miles.
Awesome.
All right, I'm gonna go to this camera. I'm gonna say, "What's poppin', loves and lovers?" My name is Sarah Anders. They also call me Sarah Speaks. I'm here to uplift you, to encourage you, and to inspire you. And how do I do that? I share with you the things that I grow through. You can find me on Instagram at I am Sarah Anders, SaraAnders. There's no H on my name. I always like to say my mama didn't have asthma. It's not Sarah. It's just Sarah. So yeah, I'm filmmaker, community activist, actress. Y'all can check out my movie on Amazon right now called 100 Blocks. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch, Beast Mode. He was our executive producer on that. So yeah, tap in.
Nice. I'll quickly give a shout out to a couple folks that tuned in. DP20, the great _81, worthy of dignity was on IG Live. Revamp _people again. Cam also chimed in on Facebook Live. What's good, my beautiful people? So shout out to you guys with that. DKW _mentor also joined. CM Cast 14 joined, but DKW had also mentioned true community goes far beyond geographical boundaries. It's a collective village of like-minded people consistently striving for mutual goals that empowers everyone in the village. In all capital letters to grow.
Well
so
said.
shout out to you, brother. Thanks for tuning in again. He's probably our most consistent live viewer.
Y'all
shout out
had
to
him
you.
in?
We did. We had him on the live. He actually was our first guest that I believe that we had fly in to be on the podcast.
Okay.
And so shout out. He's out in SoCal.
Oh.
But anyway, salute to you, brother. Appreciate the support, the consistent support.
Yes. Yeah.
Real quick, as I have you close it out, ladies, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for who you are.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm going to follow up with the thank yous too. This was a great conversation, and I'm just so happy to experience this. Like, say, oh, I talked to the people who started 707 Week, you know? And I'm just very proud of you. So just keep it up, keep pushing through and showing us like what it means to like step up and be a leader and execute and continue to like show people that it can be done. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go. With that
Thank
being
you for the
said,
spotlight.
absolutely. Tune in next Friday. We'll be live 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mike's and Mindset. Again, appreciate your love, your support, and allowing us to connect with you virtually and be live. We'll see you at 707 Week, July 7th through 13th. But don't forget about